So moving on from that, I did want to maybe hear your thoughts about what do you think are the struggles that we are facing? What are we facing as a nation? And specifically, what do you think the youth of our generation, what do they have to face today? What are the biggest challenges?
Yeah, it's a big question.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know if we can cover it in one episode.
Yeah.
We've got our plates full, that's for sure. I think that for me, when I reflect on that question and really try to boil it down, because we could talk symptoms from now until next year.
Right.
But when we really want to understand what is the core issue that is manifesting itself in all forms of symptoms, and there are so many, what are really the central aspects, the diseases, so to speak, that are ripping their way through the body of our nation? And if we can identify those, we can start entertaining solutions. I think that it really comes down to the way the Pasuk in Dvarim says it. V'yadata hayom v'ashivota levavecha ki Adonai Elohim. We're supposed to know, and also v'hashivota levavecha, return it to our hearts, that God is the Almighty, that He really is. There's none other as Him. He's the only one. There's no other reality as God. And I think that what's being identified in this pasuk, this idea of da'at yidiyah, that we have to know, and at the same time we have to emotionally realize what we know. We have to translate our abstract knowledge into experience. Those two areas are things which are really lacking on a fundamental level in the Jewish world today. There's so much superficiality about the Jewish experience. We were talking, I think, over the weekend, and it came up in one of our chats as well, that you look at like the old generations, right, 3-4 generations back, people who might have known very little intellectually about Judaism, right. But had a tremendously deep conviction. They had a da'at. It was completely manifested in their awareness of reality. Their Judaism, right? Their connection to Israel was incredibly profound without the knowledge aspect per se. And on the other side, you could have had people who knew a tremendous amount, but more importantly than that, they translated it into their emotions. And that's, to me, it's an area which is probably more critical than the knowledge aspect. Because knowledge you can supplement, right? You can listen to Sinai Studios, you can check out the Chaim Davies show,
subscribe.
And you can get yourself subscribe at the bottom, little red button.
Exactly.
And you can get yourself caught up to date, philosophically. You can look at the fundamentals of Judaism. You can read Harambam, you could read Ramchal, you can read, the incredible works, literary contributions of our history. And with enough effort, with enough commitment, you can achieve that. You can develop a substantial enough mastery of the basics of Judaism on your own. There are so many resources out there today. But the v'hashivota el levavecha is where we're lacking so much. Because people will go through an advanced yeshiva education. They'll spend 15 years studying the intricate, byways of the Talmud, right. and they'll go through everything. But the experience remains like a 5-year-old. Their connection to the feelings of Judaism is Uncle Moishe level, right? They're still, singing those songs from when they were children. Right. And it hasn't had the chance to draw deep into their heart, to penetrate inside of themselves, and to really start to allow itself to be what they experience. Like what we were talking about over Shabbos also, that one of the transformations of Purim is meant to be that LaYehudim hayta ora v'simcha v'sason v'yikar, that the Torah became light for the Jewish people, that their tefillin became honor, prestige, right? Brit Milah became sheer boundless joy, sason. And that idea is, we think about that today, and it's kind of foreign to us. I don't think we've taken that last ingredient of the Purim story really to heart.